Hey guys, thanks for joining me. And if you like what you see, please subscribe.
Hello, peoples. Welcome to Sharp Ends. Thanks so much for joining me today. So, I went to the Saranac Lakes and I took a number of knives, not that many because we had the portage into where we were going, but I did take a tool roll, a Carhartt tool roll of knives, and you can see that video by following that link right there. It was colder there. No heat wave had hit yet. We had a day that was kind of cloudy. We couldn't go. It was bad weather for fishing. It was bad weather for hiking. It's bad weather for everything. So we made a fire. We had a spoon day. What is spoon day? Spoon day is where you bushcraft yourself together a nice spoon. I had two little girls with me. One was 14 and one was 9. And then I had two friends with me who were about my age too. We all made spoons or spatulas and things like that. I don't know if you've made a spoon before, but it can be a really fun activity at a campsite. All you need basically is a bushcrafting knife and a little gouge. And this is a number 7 gouge. A lot of people who do bushcrafting actually get larger gouges, like, 2s, 3s, 4s, things like that. I find that the small one works really well for kids as well as yourself, and you can do a lot of different things with it. So that's what I use. This is the one that I made. And it's pretty well finished here and long, and the handle's made out of beech. I found a downed tree. When you're looking for wood to make it, you kind of want hardwood, definitely not pine. And if you find a tree that was felled while it was live, or a branch that came off and it has like a splintered end, and you can get like the end, shattered end off, that's kind of like prime material for me. And finding this beech was awesome. My girls, of course, are no carpenters and they haven't done this before, so theirs are much rougher. This is my daughter who's 14 years old. She kind of used one. It still has some live wood on it and stuff like that, but she whittled this thing for hours. Literally took her all day. And then my little girl who's 9, she came up with this little thing, very, very rough, right? But you get the kind of idea. She kind of split it and she needed a lot of help, but hey, it worked out. That was pretty cool. So let's talk about the knives that I ended up using for this and what I found to be the best things for it. So the Genesis was by far and away the number 1 rough shaper. By that I mean taking that log, splitting it where you need it. This came out of a giant piece of wood, like a giant piece of wood that was thick on all sides and everything. And so in order to rough shape it and get it down to a minimal shape that you're going to be able to get it down, this wood processing knife, great. This is the LT Wright Genesis. A2 tool steel, Scandi grind, mirror Scandi grind, hammer handle, which doesn't feel like, which you look at and you think, oh, that can't be comfortable. It actually is very comfortable for this kind of carving, and it shaves really nicely too. Speaking of shaving, so this thing was used on 5 different spoons at least, and a bunch of other things. And let's see if it's still cutting. And it's still almost cutting perfectly through. That's a great thing about Scandi, is that it doesn't have a secondary bevel on it. I think all I'm going to need to do to really touch this up at all is I'm going to take my workbench, my work sharp bench stone, and I'm just going to go over here on the ceramic side a little bit, maybe strop it up a little bit, clean it up, and it'll be good to go. So great rough shaper. Now, this for the fine work, it's a little bit too. It wasn't the best for that. For processing wood, great. For making steaks, for making a pointy stick, for all kinds of things. For making tongs to get coals out of fire if you're going to burn your spoon handle, your spoon mouth, which a lot of people do. Perfect, good use for that, for making tongs, right? My 14-year-old used this knife and she liked it, although it was a little bit too big for her hands. And then the next down that we ended up used was this is the first production run of the MagnaCut Bark River Knives Euro Bushcrafter. This thing is a combination Scandi and convex grind. Shaves and whittles like a dream. Let's see if it's still sharp after going through 5 knives, or how many ever. Oh my god, it's still hair popping sharp. I could shave the hair off my arm with this. I will just clean this up a little bit and strop it. Great Coke bottle handle. Makes great ergodynamics for this, and the handle shape makes it very comfortable for using for long stretches of time. And like I said, this just shaves the wood off as much as you want. A good shaper knife, I would say. Now, I could not find my Forest from Bark River Knives, which is the best carpentry knife I think I've ever had. I could not find it before I go, and I'm getting a little agita just thinking about it. Don't know where it is. I took it camping in for spring break, like in April. Haven't seen it since, so I'm really scared that I lost it. I really hope that I didn't, because it's an expensive knife and is one of my favorite carpentry knives. However, this kicked butt. The Forest is also a Scandi convex grind combination, but it has more of a swoop and it's made more for carpentry and has a thicker handle. But the same kind of thing applies, and this really did a great job. And then finally, for the final shaping and everything, and both of my girls absolutely love this knife because it's a little bit smaller and it fit their hands a little bit better. Also a convex Scandi combination. It's the ultralight bushcrafter from Bark River Knives. You can see its little compass shape right there. And is this magnet cut too? No, this is S45VN. I'm going to guess that this is probably still very sharp, even though my girls abused the crap out of it. Yeah, it's catching here on the seam of the paper between, yeah, it's absolutely fine. I don't have the original. I made this an in-pocket carry by getting one of Gary Creeley's Mako sheaths from him at his booth at the Lehigh Valley Knife Show, and so that's what I'm using. I'm using this for my carry, for a little in-pocket carry, but very good Coke bottle hand. Again, you can see that this shares a lot of chemistry with the Euro, but it has a little bit of recurve. Like, what I mean by that is the knife shape comes down here and up. So the fine carving and the fine shaping of everything, this was the way to go. It was very, very easy. And my daughter even used the tip to get into the bottom of that bowl instead of using the thing that she should be using. But she loved this knife and she used it for the rest of the camping trip. I was kind of scared about that because she's not necessarily the most coordinated person in the world, especially, when you're a teenager, you're still kind of learning how your body is growing and becoming bigger. But I taught her how to use a knife properly, and she used a knife properly. And it was really cool too, to kind of spread my love of knives to the girls. And I had a roll of knives there and they tried them all, and these were the 3 knives they really liked. And my friends tried them all too. They have some knives as well, but they're not into knives like I am. And them being able to get a chance to really compare their cheap knives to my knives and feel the difference when you're actually trying to manufacture something, create something, and see what a high quality knife can do for you was a pleasure. And it was cool to share some of my knowledge and stuff like that. Some of the things I noticed, these are all 3 Scandi. There's one other knife I want to show you guys real fast that they also liked. Just want to give a shout out here to the Aspen the Aspen 2 waxwing knives. Did a review of their knives recently. The girls liked using this too. Very fine, sharp knife. The profile of this actually looks a lot like the Forest, which I was talking about earlier. And both of the girls and my friends liked this for shaving and sharpening and shaping at the end too. This is, of course, a high saber or a full flat grind. But yeah, very, very cool. And, while we were there, I took everyone's knives that they had brought that were dull or whatever, or the axes, and I used my guided field sharpener from Work Sharp. This is the best piece of kit you can get, like, for maintaining knives. Went right in the tool roll, right in my backpack, and kept and I sharpened up their knives. I didn't need them on this at all, on my knives at all. They were good, and they're good steel, but they brought knives that were not necessarily sharp, and I was able to get their knives to hair popping sharpness just with this. And I taught them how to do it themselves too, and they really liked it, and they plan on buying one for themselves. These, of course, have diamond stones. It's got the rough diamond stone, smooth diamond stone, and the ceramic rods here. Also sharpens up your fishing hooks, which I actually did do, or serrations on the blades. One of the guys had serrations, and I sharpened up his serrations too, and a little bit of a strop here, and it has a guide here, so it's very easy to start there and go along and figure out the angle that you need to do is already there for you, and you don't need water. This is just a diamond stone, right? I think these are $20. There'll be a link down below for that. Just follow that link if you're interested. But I swear to God, this is the best piece of kit you can get for traveling around or do whatever, or even at home to do a quick touch up on your knives or whatever. I have a KME system as well. I also have their bench stone, and the bench stone is also very awesome. This is the next step up from the guided field sharpener. and I use that all the time too. But this thing, phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So I made a spoon, and I made it out of ash, and I like it a lot. I did sand this one, and I added just a little bit of food grade mineral oil to it. Probably add some other different kinds of oil to it as well, and that will penetrate in there. Beech wood is a great wood for this kind of purpose. This is nice and light and smooth. I did sand this. This was a rougher finish before I did like 60 grit and 120 grit. You know, so yeah, but this is a nice little spoon and a fun little project. Thought that I would share that with you guys. Saranac Lakes, by the way, absolutely gorgeous, well worth it. You definitely have to boat in though. There's no hiking to a campsite. You gotta get there by boat, and it's out in the middle of nowhere, but it's beautiful. Sky is big, see all the stars, the weather's perfect, the water's deep, the fish are jumping. Whew, it's a piece of heaven on earth, I do tell you. So definitely check that out if you're into camping and you're in the area. And if you want to, and I'll even, if you message me or whatever, I'll tell you which my favorite camp spots out there are. I'm not going to post exactly what they are, but if you ask me personally in an email or something, I'll tell you which one you should go to. Thanks so much, guys. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment. Really helps the channel. If you want to get a chance to win a knife of the month, all you got to do is follow the link down below for Patreon. And for $3 a month, you get entered to win a knife every single month. All right, guys. See you next time on Sharp Ends. Bye-bye now.